Okay, guys, welcome. This is our week 4 episode of For the Love of Cooking with Chef Laura Strath. We are so glad that you decided to join us today. I actually do get to say on this beautiful evening. I'm just noticing some of you are still connecting. That's okay. We'll jump over to Laura by the time I'm done here. If you're joining us for the first time, certainly welcome. I know many users of Laura's programs are here week after week, and we're so glad you do that. So thanks for powering through this. So my name's Daniel. I moderate virtual programs with the town of Oakville. You can use the chat box to communicate with myself or other members within the group that you might recognize. Otherwise, we just ask that you keep yourself on mute, especially in the kitchen, so there's not a ton of background noise. Recognizing again that this is shared with everyone on the internet. We don't require any screening or sign up, so we just ask that everyone treat one another with respect and respect each other's perspectives. We do record so we can join and share on a later date on the Town of Oakville's YouTube page. So if at any point you're curious of whether or not Chef Laura has made something in our program before, feel free to head over to the Town of Oakville's YouTube page and you can check it out. And I'm sure we have. I think this is like week 19. So we've done a lot. But today, Chef, why don't you tell us what you're making? You take it from here.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. So tonight we are going to make some pierogies. And these are great to eat tonight for dinner, or you can freeze them for a later time. They're super easy, and you can actually put whatever you want in them. So it can be a savory filling, it can be a fruit filling. But today we are actually going to make a potato and cheese filling. So we'll start out with the dough. Hopefully you've done your potatoes. You can even use leftover mashed potatoes from last night's dinner or whenever you had them. And I've just actually mashed mine up like quite well. So there's not any lumps in here, but we're gonna put those aside for now. We'll get started on our dough and then we'll work on our filling. Okay, so in our bowl here, we've got our all-purpose flour and we have our teaspoon of salt. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to make a well in the center, and then we are gonna put in 1 egg. And while my hands are still clean, I'm just gonna measure out some hot water. We're gonna need about 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup, okay? Bear with me a sec. Okay, so we're just gonna have that on the side for now, but I'm just going to break up the egg with my finger, and then I'm just going to start mixing in my flour. This is a really simple dough, and you can have this made ahead of time. Okay, and then I'm going to start slowly adding in my hot water. So not boiling hot, but you know, like fairly warm. The dough will be pretty sticky too. Okay. So I'm just adding in a bit of water at a time. It's a lot easier to add a little bit of water than take away. Okay. Aww. Hi, Ruby.
Say hi, Chef. So folks at home, I'm usually broadcasting live from QEP Black Box, but unfortunately my daughter has a runny nose and this is COVID. So now daddy needs to get a test to go back to work, and oh, so you get to join from the Ridsdale home. This is my daughter, Ruby.
Aww. Okay, so this is looking good. So you can see it's still a bit of a sticky dough. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out on my counter for a sec. And I'm just gonna give it a quick knead, just to kind of bring it together. Just gonna dust my surface here. Okay, so you can see it's coming together, still pretty sticky. like tacky. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to put that in my bowl. Let me just wash off my hands here. Okay. There we go. And then we're, Tonya, can I get you to put this in the fridge for me, please? Thank you. So on the recipe that we put up on the website, we actually made it with sauerkraut. You do not have to have it with sauerkraut. It's just it's optional. So if you do want to make half and half, you can certainly do that. But what we've got here, so we've got just a mixture of different cheeses. So we've got old cheddar, and then we had some Tex-Mex cheese that was in our fridge. So I just tossed in a little bit of that. So you can use whatever cheese you want. If you have cream cheese you want to use, you can put that in there too. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add some cheese into our mix. I love cheese, so I'm going to just add all of it. And then we are going to add some onion as well. And again, this is optional. If you don't like onions, then don't add it. Okay. So today we've actually got shallots. So I'll just add in maybe one shallot on burner. I'm going to put my burner on medium heat. And then we're just going to saute the onion and we're going to put it right into our mix. So again, if you don't like onion, then feel free to omit. I know some people will often use ricotta cheese, which is also nice. You could add spinach or feta cheese. Okay, and I'm just going to put in about a teaspoon of olive oil. And we're just going to saute our onions. So we don't want them brown, but we just want them translucent. So just a rough chop. Okay. Has anybody made these from scratch before? Nobody?
My wife is Ukrainian, so we've definitely made pierogi before.
Oh, what kind do you normally make, Daniel?
Like always potatoes, but we do the like the sauerkraut with bacon on the side. So yummy.
Yum. I'm just going to stir in my cheese while this is cooking up. This really does make a lot of filling. So you can actually put your filling in the freezer as well. You can pull it out for the next batch if you don't have time to finish it off. These taste so much better than the store-bought. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give these about another 30 seconds or so, and I think we're going to be good to go. I love, love, love that smell. So after we add in our onions, I'm just going to have a quick taste, and then I'm going to see if I need to season with salt and pepper. Okay, so here we go. onions right in. And then we'll save our pan for later, for when we're frying our pierogies. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to try bite. I'm just going to move my head away because there's someone else in the kitchen. I have to take off my mask. Okay, so I'm going to add a pinch of salt to mine. I always find potatoes take a lot of salt when cooking.
I'm missing the smell of those shallots tonight.
Yeah, too bad we didn't have a smell sensor.
That'll be, yeah, hopefully when the next pandemic comes in 100 years, we'll have that technology.
Yeah. Okay. Does everybody have their mix ready to go? I think so. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. Okay. So you're going to need some dusting flour. And then you're going to need some kind of a ring or a cutter to cut out your circles for your pierogies. If you don't have a cutter, then you can actually just use a drinking cup, okay, or a can, okay. So we'll just grab our dough out of the fridge.
So Chef, I see that some people are joining late. So just for a quick update, Chef Laura is preparing pierogies from scratch tonight. So we are just about to turn our dough, I guess, into the lovely shapes of the pierogies, just to catch you up on where we are.
Oh, thanks, Daniel. Thank you. So we'll put the dough that we're not using right now, we'll just put it back in the fridge to rest. So I'm just going to dust my work surface with some flour. And then I'm just going to coat my dough with a little bit of the flour from the work surface. Okay, so this one we're going to roll out quite thin, about like a little bit thinner than how you would roll out a pie dough. So about, I would say about 1/8 of an inch. So make sure you check your dough so it's not sticking to your counter. My dough is going to retract a little bit because it hasn't had very much resting time. Okay. They have these really cool molds that you can buy, and it's kind of like a big circular mold that has little cutouts of like half moon shapes for when you're making pierogies, so that when you make your dough, you just put it over top of this this cutter, and then you punch in the holes, and then that's where you put in your filling, and then you just cover it with another piece of dough. I guess that's pretty handy if you're going to make them all the time. I think I've actually seen them on Amazon, but I think they're about $50.
Sometimes though, these especially some of, the traditional older foods, like isn't the fun or like the quality of it, making it with your hands?
Absolutely.
Like there's a gadget for everything, but I'm sure that there's like I'm sure there's like Polish grandmothers who hate the idea of like a self-rolling pierogi.
Yep. I totally agree. Okay, so mine's looking pretty good. So I'll try and show you a very thin thickness, maybe about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now we're just going to use our cutter. So this one you can do a little twist because we're not making biscuits. Okay, so you're just gonna cut out your circles. And you can make your circles however big you want. So that will just depend on how big you want your pierogies. And try and cut your circles so that you're cutting as close as you can to the circles next to it, so that you're not having to rework as much dough. Okay. Is everyone having pierogies for dinner?
I don't know. I don't see, well, no, I can see at least two people. Kylie's got it for dinner. Looks like Mary Ellen. Kylie, how many cinnamon, well, your hands are dirty, I know, but how many cinnamon buns did you end up making? Probably, I saw on Instagram. Only 9?
They were so good. Can I just tell you, I had to make a German chocolate cake a little bit later on that week, and I had extra mix, and I still had some cinnamon buns left over from when I made them at home. And I put the coconut and the pecan mixture on top of my cinnamon buns. And I'm just saying, it was pretty next level. It was really good. Okay, so here we go. So we've just
Tracy, I just saw that Tracy wrote that you can't see the chats. Shoot me another message. What do you mean by that? Because it looks like your chat function should be enabled.
Oh, sorry, I don't see any, hold on.
We don't have it open.
Oh no, never mind. I see what you mean, Tracy. You think they're sending directly to me. It looks like I've enabled everyone publicly and directly.
Hi, Tracy.
Oh, I'm sending them directly to. Thank you, Tracy.
Okay, so then I'm just going to use a small scoop, and I'm just going to, well, that might be a bit big. I'm just going to put maybe a half scoop. And we're just going to put a scoop into our pierogies center. If you don't have a scoop, you can always just use a spoon.
For folks joining late, thank you for joining us this week with Chef Laura's For the Love of Cooking. We are making pierogies from scratch. I know you've missed a bit of the program, but that's okay. We always make them available on the Town of Oakville's YouTube page at a later date. For now, you can enjoy. It looks like we're on the stuffing of pierogi stage.
Okay. So we're just putting about 1.5 teaspoons of filling into the pierogies. Okay. Okay. All right. So at this point, I'm just going to have a tray here that's ready. It's got a tray with some parchment paper, and I've just sprinkled a little bit of flour on top just so I can put my finished pierogies on here. So we don't want to layer them on, we just want to have them on singly. So what you're going to do here is you're going to take your pierogi and then you're going to kind of lift up the sides and you're going to fold them over. So it kind of looks like a little purse. Can everybody see? Perfect, Kylie. And then you're just going to pinch the edges. Okay. Ta-da. Okay. Nothing too fancy about what I'm doing here. I know that some people will actually do like a little ruffle around the edge, and if you want to do that, you can certainly do that. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the edges and I'm just doing like a little pinch, like you would almost like crimping a pie. Totally optional. Here, I'll show you again, Kylie. Okay, so we've got our purse, a pinch at the top, and then pinch, 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 pinching all around the edges. Nice, tight seam. Okay, so then we're pinched. So now if you wanted to do the ruffled edge, you just take your pointer and your thumb, and then you're just going to kind of bring it in and pinch. And then you're gonna go in again like you're crimping a pie. Can everybody see? Sorry, I don't have my manicure done. You're crimping in like a pie. Again, this is totally optional, just for aesthetics. Okay, and then you have like a little bit of a crimped edge. Okay, I'll do a couple more here. Okay, so pinch into your purse. Okay, so I've got my pinched purse, and then I'm using my thumb and my pointy finger, and I'm just bringing the dough up and I'm making a little pinch. So I'm just kind of, just like even like if you're gonna crimp a pie, you could even try it like that with your finger here and it coming in like this. Again, you don't even have to do this. This is just kind of decorative. Okay. And then we're just gonna line them, put them on a tray just like so. Okay. How's everyone's pierogies coming? Okay? Good, good. I guess even if you wanted to, you could make a big batch of these and you could probably watch a movie while you're making your dozens and dozens of pierogies.
Tracy's writing in the chat that they're not as pretty as yours.
I'm sure they're lovely.
I like the crimp, to be honest. It's a nice touch.
It is a nice touch. That extra little TLC. Okay. I'll do some without the crimping.
You need some production assistance in there. You've made a lot of pierogies.
I know. We still have another part of our dough.
I think Tanya's in the kitchen assisting you tonight. Tanya's mother's on the call. She'd probably tell us if Tanya's any help in there.
She is always.
Yeah.
She does the computer, which is always the biggest help for me.
Gotta wonder how many municipalities have their cultural supervisor aiding with pierogi rolling on a Wednesday night. Oakville's #1.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Everyone, this is Tanya.
Hello, everyone. I'm the hands that appear sometimes when things are going awry.
It's my best sous chef.
It's my first time making pierogies. So I got the purse.
Yep, so got your purse. And then if your filling is a little bit close to the edge, you can always just push it in a little bit.
Okay.
Or you can even pull your dough out a little bit.
All right.
Oma writes in the chat that they look so beautiful. That's big approval.
Aw, thanks, Oma.
The dough is very soft.
It is a
I have
very
to
soft
say,
dough.
It's really beautiful.
It's amazing what you can do with just a few ingredients. Perfect. That looks great. And then
It
if
might
you,
explode in the...
yeah, if you want, you can just, yeah, there you go. And if you wanted to crimp it, then you're just taking your pointer and your thumb and you're kind of crimping like you would a pie. There you go. Perfect. And these are really great. You can freeze these on the tray and then you could put them in a Ziploc bag and then they are good to go for a later time. This one is a bit full.
Maybe putting you on the spot here, but it's a local community show. Do we have any restaurants or maybe grocery stores that make fresh pierogies that people could access around here?
I don't know.
I get mine sometimes as a Christmas present from my mom, but she doesn't make them. She gets them from her friend who makes them at a local community church. Mom, if you could type the name of Stephanie's...
Is it on Trafalgar?
Oh, the Ukrainian church?
I think it's like a fundraiser and they sell
Tracy
bags. It's amazing. They're really beautiful.
Tracy just wrote that in the chat. Yeah, whenever up just a little north from town hall, I've seen that. You just show up.
That one. This is a smaller church near where you live.
Oh, it's not St. Aidan's.
It's another church. If my mother is listening, is she still here? I can't see.
Yeah, it looks like your mom's here.
Oh yeah, that's right. The one on Trafalgar, you can just
Yeah.
show up.
If she's listening, she'll put the name in, but I have had those and they're really good.
Every time I see the sale at the Ukrainian church, I always think I should go, and then I always forget.
But I heard those are very good as well.
I heard they were
Yeah.
delicious. And if anybody's looking for strudel, sometimes the Croatian ladies at the church across the street will have their sale on, and the strudel is unbelievable.
So I've basically done 3 and Laura has done like 12.
That's okay, I've had more practice.
This is the beginner level.
This one's... sometimes the dough can get a little bit, when it gets warm, it gets a bit sticky.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine's kind of sticky.
And sometimes you just get in the swing of it and then you can pull it off pretty quickly.
Okay, so we've heard from Oma. Not sure if they still do it, but St. Anthony of Padua
Oh,
Polish Church on John Street. And it was her friend Josephine that makes them. And again, Polish connection, gotta be good.
Yeah,
Yum.
Josephine. And sometimes we get it directly from her freezer.
oh, wow.
Love that.
All right, are you guys ready to boil these up and see how they turn out? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna bring some water to a boil. And then once my water comes to a boil, I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit. And then the pierogies don't take long to cook at all. They just take just until they start to float up to the top. And then I'm going to heat up our burner here that had our onions in it as well. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for your help. And I'm going to put a little bit of butter in here. Just a little bit to fry up our pierogies. I'll put a bit more in because we're probably going to eat them all. Okay. So come along in a second. And then once my water comes to a boil, I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in there. Maybe about a quarter of a teaspoon. Just helps with the flavor. And there's that conversation too about, do you put the salt in before the boil or after the boil? I don't think it really matters. Okay. I think I'm going to burn my butter a little bit so it's nice and brown. Turn this one up. This one is always the fastest burner right here.
You need an induction stove in the community kitchen.
I know. Wouldn't that be so nice?
You know what? It's we use HelloFresh sometimes, and the only downside with HelloFresh, it's like it'll give the instruction. It's like, well, water boils, chop like 4 onions, and I'm like, my water's boiling in 30 seconds.
That's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are almost at a boil. Okay, and then I'm going to just use a slotted spoon. And we'll just boil a few at a time, and then we'll put them right into our butter. Not the most healthiest way to have this. You can just eat them boiled as well.
You know what? Well, after I boil mine, because we sometimes do like bacon, I leave the bacon oil in the pan, and yeah, amazing.
Yes, I often will do that if my husband's eating it, but being a vegetarian, I just cook mine separately. But it does, yeah, it does impart that special flavor when you have all the rendered fat in there.
Has anyone watched the documentary Seaspiracy on Netflix? I see Kylie nodding her head. If you were ever on the borderline of considering being vegan or vegetarian, maybe don't watch that documentary because it'll push you right over.
Uh-oh.
Pretty devastating.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I've always kind of teetered on, well, like I understand that eating meat could be harmful to animals or, the environment. And then you watch stuff like that and if you haven't, maybe just avoid.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I've got my pierogies in, and I've just done about half a dozen. And I'm just at a low boil, so not aggressive. And I'm just going to make sure that they're not sticking to the bottom. So they are good. And then we'll know that they're ready to go when they are floating to the top.
Laura.
Yes.
aggressively?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear.
Why don't you boil it aggressively?
I don't put it at an aggressive boil because I'm always nervous that the aggressive boil might cause them to split open. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I think they're done. So you can see that they're all floating to the top. Okay, everybody's good. All right, so then I am going to put them right into our butter.
Best sound on earth.
I agree. Okay. So we'll give them a little bit of a pan fry so they get nice and crispy. Oops. Guys, look at this. And then if you wanted to, you could also saute some onions or peppers. Sometimes I even make an Alfredo sauce, and then I toss them in the Alfredo sauce after with lots of vegetables. Okay. Tanya, does this not smell delicious?
This is amazing. I'm so excited to clean up.
Okay. Okay. And then ta-da.
Looks delicious. Who's gonna eat them today?
Well, Laura and I have to clean up.
Yeah.
So it's a tough job.
I know.
Poor things.
I know. Yeah, we don't have very many people here today, so
Not
we're,
today, no. The building is empty.
how unfortunate.
Well, remember, guys, you can always freeze pierogies and save them for another day.
That's, that is very true. So,
Does anyone, sorry, go ahead, Chef.
no, you go ahead,
I
Daniel.
was just gonna ask if anyone has any questions for Chef Laura before we go and let her make another couple batches for me to take home when I return to work.
Oh, Mary Ellen, they look awesome.
Oh, lovely.
Beautiful.
Did you put cheese and potato in yours, or did you do sauerkraut?
No sauerkraut?
No sauerkraut, okay. Nice.
I like how they're a little extra toasted. I love that.
Oh, nice. So we've done 2 weeks of savory. So we were thinking that next week we would do something on the sweeter side. So we are going to be making homemade peanut butter cups next week. So Reese's, look out. Right. They aren't as hard as they look.
I'm excited.
You'll be here next week, right, Daniel?
I hope so.
I hope not.
Who said that?
Schedule.
Oh, Kylie, those look awesome. Yum, yum.
Nice job, Kylie.
Bravo, guys. See,
Hey,
they're
well-
not They're not as hard as people might make it out to be. Pretty
Making
easy.
them well is the tough part. Not making pierogies is easy. Making them be delicious
That's right.
and not be splitting in the water. That's the tough thing.
That's the thing. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Chef, if there's no other questions from from the participants this evening, I will let you go back to your cooking, and hopefully next week I get to see you. And thank you everyone for your patience tonight as we make it work.
Oh, thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks all. Guys, have a nice, safe evening. Bye now.